Interesting week of football. I have four very special guests with me to take us through two spotlight games, one of them being the El SACKICO, as I like to call it. Abhishek, Vansh, Vedant, and Shabazz. Boys, how's it going?
Doing great. Thanks. So nice to be here, Al. Thanks.
And before we get into the games, just one by one, I just want a little summary on what you guys do, how you became fans of the club, and how you started your fan clubs. We'll start with you, Vedant.
Hi Rahul. So I'm a Leicester City fan. It's very unusual for an Indian to be a Leicester City supporter. So my story is that I was in ninth standard. I went to United States for a foreign exchange program. So I stayed with a host family there, which was basically from Leicester City. So I got the infection from there. And I have been a Leicester City fan since 2013. I have seen the ups and downs, the club, from championship to Premier League champion, and now consistently fighting for the elite spots. So yeah.
That's great. Shabazz.
Yeah, hi. So I have been an Arsenal fan since 2008. Uh, so there wasn't much to tell you guys about because at that point of time we were playing one of the best footballs in the Premier League. It was the era where we had Fabregas, we had Nasri, we had Lab. So all these players we had, and it's fair for me to say that I fell in love with how Arsenal play, and there we are right now. So yeah, that's about it.
One day, I'm sure there'll be light at the end of the tunnel, but Vansh.
So I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Yeah, I have supported the club. I'm supporting the club since 2016. Earlier, I was a Van Persie fan. Not didn't prefer much clubs, but yeah, then when he left the Premier League, thought of supporting a club now. And then Porsche's football caught my eye. So yeah, have been supporting since Tottenham then.
Lovely. And finally, Abhishek.
Hi guys, I'm a big Manchester United fan. I think the board suggests that, and for me, it's a bit dated. So I started supporting this club in 2003, thanks to this incredible striker called Ruud van Nistelrooy. I remember him scoring many goals, and that kind of got my fancy. Also, a member of the Manchester United Supporters Club of Mumbai. So any United fans who are watching and who aren't aware of this, do follow us at MUSC Mumbai. We're a club that loves to love each other, love the club, and generally talk a lot of Manchester United.
Lovely. Let's get straight into it, boys. The first game we're covering, Leicester versus Arsenal at the King Power. Now, Shabazz, I'll come to you first. Didn't start off too well. Fair to say you're getting some momentum, but Leicester, on the other hand, are getting that as well.
Right, right. So the start of the season, there were many factors to that, and obviously we spent the most amount of money in the transfer window. We spent 150 million. We brought in uh, some players, and all of them like young players over there. Initially, I believe we were hit on the first game against Benford. We were hit by some COVID infections in the squad, and we then again, since it was the first game of the Premier League, we had to carry on. We were told by the Premier League that the game should go on, so we played like that. I wouldn't say that was and that I wouldn't use that as an excuse, but we shouldn't be losing to Brentford, who just got promoted to the Premier League. So that was it. Then came Chelsea and City. You guys know what happened there against City and against Chelsea as well. So yeah, it's good to have some momentum back. Uh, it wasn't great initially. Like we beat Norwich, then we beat Burnley. It was like 1-0 wins. Then we went on to beat Tottenham. So when we beat Tottenham at home in a North London derby, I was like, okay, yes, this is it. Now we are picking up the pace, and everyone was convinced that first half was real good. I mean, that's what we as Arsenal fans wants to see, right? So then came Crystal Palace game, and before that we had Brighton. So these are kind of a stumbling blocks, and I would say the team is still not consistent yet. And Arteta, what I believe, has been tweaking things. I mean, this is something which we haven't seen in the last year. Okay, when we finished it, Arteta was like he was kind of no stubborn on his ideas. If he wants to play in the same way, he will play that way as well. So this season we have seen some changes. Okay, even his in-game management, where we used to see the substitution after the 80-minute mark or 85-minute mark. Now he knows what he needs to do, and now we are seeing that okay, he is making a tactical substitution which are actually working for us. So it's good to see. But again, consistency is the key. We are still not consistent yet, because like in the Aston Villa game as well, in the first half we were good. In the second half, it was like it was a balanced game. So we still need to find that consistency moving forward. And talking about the Leicester game, I'm not much optimistic and also not much pessimistic about that game, because it is unpredictable. Because last season as well, we were on a bad run. We went there and we beat Leicester 3-1. So I mean, who would have thought that, right? So like I said, it is an unpredictable game for me. We might win and we might lose. I'm not sure about it right now.
Yeah, so basically, he started off being Jurgen Klopp. He gave away all his strategies. Then he took a shot at once. And then we come to Vedant. Now, Vedant, after a 22-game run, winless against, Arsenal, you've won 4 out of the last 7. You've lost only 1. You've drawn 2. You have a certain Jamie Vardy who has scored more goals against Arsenal than any other club in the competition. You have come off 2 really good games where, you scored 4 goals against United. You scored 4 goals in the cup. The team is confident. But then again, like Arsenal, you've had a very hot and cold kind of season. You won the games you probably weren't expected to win, and you've lost the games you were expecting to win.
That's Leicester for you. See, the main reason that Leicester form has not been particularly good is because of injuries. So media always keeps on talking about the injuries affecting Liverpool. Center backs are out. Virgil van Dijk is not there. Nobody's covering Leicester. Nobody speaks shit about Leicester because obviously there is no money in that, right? Who is going to watch that? But Johnny Evans is. I'm actually a medical student, so I can tell you, very frankly, that Johnny Evans is actually suffering from an inflammatory pathology known as plantar fasciitis. So that condition is so stubborn that it can happen to anyone and it has no definite etiology, right? So it can happen at any time and it has no definite treatment. So he has been a pillar, right? He was so vital in that FA Cup victory, or even in the past 2 seasons that we managed to finish 5th. So Johnny Evans is out. He's basically Virgil van Dijk of our club, right? And now Wesley Fofana. I mean, he's a sensation. Everyone knows that. The Manchester United is so. I actually write for an outlet also. I write for a newspaper. So I keep on talking about people there. Manchester United are so keenly observing Wesley Fofana. They want to sign him, and it's every now and then I'm writing a rumor about Wesley Fofana to Manchester United. So, and see, such 2 good defenders who are your first choice are out. You got to have, you are bound to struggle. So it's not our attack is on a struggle. Our attack is good. I mean, you watch our past matches. It's basically a cricket score every now and then. We beat Spartak Moscow by 4-3. We scored 4, but we conceded 3 to Spartak Moscow. It's our defense. It's completely our defense that is, having problems. So against Arsenal, I mean, see, it's again very unpredictable. Johnny Evans is back. I don't know how long he's back for. He might be back for 2 matches, or he might be back for full whole season. But let's see. I think it's gonna be Jamie Vardy's night, or maybe it could be Black Vardy's night. Patson Daka.
And Abhishek, I'll bring this to you since we've now witnessed 3 Jurgen Klopps, 1 at Anfield and 2 on the call. But United played Leicester in their last game. I wouldn't want to say they got hammered, but I think defensive mistakes led to a scoreline that suggested that they did. Now, Leicester seems to come out of the way, against the big clubs. They're stubborn. But Arsenal probably being that thorn in the middle. Even in their title-winning season, Arsenal was the only team that did a double over them. So does Leicester hold the edge, or does reputation and big names or other better players come into play when it's an Arsenal-Leicester game?
No, man. It's all about form in this current Premier League. I don't think reputation has too much to say. It's also very early in the season. If we were somewhere in December, January, injuries coming in, player fatigue, I think then the bigger players step up. I think then legacy sets in. But right now, just looking at the table, it's 9 versus 10. And also the gap between 10 and 4 is not much. So if Leicester or Arsenal win this, they can very easily go up in that 4, 5, 6 positions. I think, energy is going to be high. It's going to be high octane. And I definitely fancy Leicester. And I just want to say that, I like two things that Vedant, and one thing each that Vedant and Shabazz said. Shabazz said something like, we beat Tottenham and that was the high point and that was it. Unfortunately, my take on Arsenal is it's come to a position today where you beat Tottenham and that's the high point of your season. So maybe it's a time for reflection as well for the fans. Is that enough? And for the amount of criticism that Oli is getting, for example, Arsenal are still way below. And this is not a criticism at Arteta, but I think the fans, I don't want to see them lower expectations. Arsenal have always been a dear club for any United fan in my era because they were the biggest rivals. I just want to put it out there that I don't want Arsenal fans to start accepting wins against Tottenham Hotspur to be the high point of the season. And for Vedant, man, I can't wait for Fofana to replace Phil Jones at United. Wow, that'll be amazing. But no, terrific talent. Definitely.
We got 85 million for Harry Maguire. We aren't selling him less than 100 million.
If that's another Maguire, then I'm sure Abhishek is visiting you very soon. But once, lots of Spurs talk over here. Arsenal beating you, they took the game to you in the first half. But then again, that was an Arsenal that was just coming to form. And I mean, your recent history with Leicester is you probably cost them 4th spot last season. So you've had good results against them. You've played Arsenal, of course, the biggest rivalry. Or your take on the game?
Yeah, both had a slow start of the season. Arsenal a worse one. Yeah, but since since 5 to 6 years, I have particularly seen Leicester tip over Arsenal. Maybe the results have been in Arsenal's favor, but yeah, Leicester is a better team according to me. So if somebody asks my prediction, I'd say 3-2 Leicester. Gonna be entertaining game because Arsenal has been attacking on the front. They registered 22 shots against Aston Villa at Emirates, and that's a good thing. Mikel Arteta, he is starting to shape the team better since the beginning. I'd say defensively, both the teams are a little weak, as Leicester do not have those, the comrades they play. Johnny Evans and Fofana, as Vedant said, and Arsenal, Ben White, too young, and Gabriel too. I mean, I personally say he's alright. Tomiyasu also had a good start of the season, but yeah, we have seen him commit mistakes. Kieran Tierney is one player. I'd say he's Arsenal's best player right now, and he is a big force in the season, in the driving the season. I mean, with the performances they are putting up right now, he has a big role in them. He's too fast. He covers the ground too much. He has good shooting power also. But yeah, in the end, my prediction is Leicester 3-2.
Wow, we've come to predictions, but Vedant, before we come to predictions, Aubameyang 5 involvements in the last 6 games, 5 goal involvements in the last 6 games, but they've all been at home. Now, like you said, you're missing Evans, you're probably missing Fofana. Evans may start, may not start. And Aubameyang has probably not got his most impressive goals of the season this season. So do you see yourself containing Arsenal and it being, a 1-0 kind of a game, a cagey affair, or is this open to more goals?
It's open to more goals. Johnny Evans will play as we have done a prediction on the lineup. I think Johnny Evans will play, but I think it will be again either it could be a one-sided victory to any of the teams, or it could be again a cricket score 3-2, 4-3. I think it would be like that.
And Shabazz, coming to you, you've Leno is not in goal anymore. He was probably the better of your 2 goalkeepers, but Ramsdale has not disappointed. He's pulled off some blinders. You seem settled at the back, even though you're letting in late minute goal. You're letting in just 1 or 2, which probably of zero consequence, but it's just affecting that clean sheet column. Attacking Emil Smith-Rowe looks like your best player. So again, I throw this at you. Is it going to be a cagey affair, or is it going to be a lot of goals?
I believe, I'll go with what's his name? I'm sorry. So
Vedant.
Vedant. So I will go with Vedant on this one. It can be 3-2 or 4-3 kind of a game, similar to what we had in the start of the 2017 season at the Emirates. So I'm fully expecting that because both the teams, I believe, is going to go ahead and attack. Also, I believe this is going to be a midfield battle. more of a midfield battle because whoever wins the midfield is going to win the game and is going to score more goals. Because I believe Thomas Partey as a lone six, he looks like he's stranded. So if you guys have saw the Crystal Palace game, he was playing as a lone six, and we all know what happened. I mean, he lost the ball in the midfield and he conceded a goal. So all in all, if we have our midfield in a proper shape, I mean, if we are playing Partey with Lokonga and they are sitting back in the midfield and trying to control the game, then definitely I'm confident that then we can go ahead and win this game.
To
It's a
Arsenal's
midfield battle for me.
most trusted Twitter handle, AFC Bell. I mean, they are, you're one of the best handles for all the transfer rumors.
Yeah.
James Maddison was the player you were most interested in this summer, right?
Right.
So, yeah, because again, Leicester is known for their shrewd prices. We rated him too highly, around 80 million or something like that. I would love if James Maddison scores a screamer tomorrow. I would love it. I'm telling you.
The first shot is fired.
Yeah.
But I believe James Maddison hasn't been playing too much.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. No, but he's picking up form now.
Okay.
Last
Great.
2 to 3 matches, he has been pretty good.
I'm quickly going to bring in Abhishek and Vansh on this, starting with Abhishek, your prediction on the game.
Before I give my prediction, if I may, both teams are, I think, one of the best teams on form right now. I think both teams have gone without a defeat in the last 4. Leicester just had a 19 September defeat against Brighton, which was bizarre. But just because of that, I think it's going to be high octane. Leicester at home, both teams on form, both teams firing on all cylinders. Arsenal, I just don't see them getting 3 points at the King Power. So I'm going to go for a draw. I think it's going to be a very entertaining 2-2.
Vansh.
Yeah, earlier I said 3-2. Leicester's gonna win this one.
Wow. Okay. Coming to our next big game, like I like to call it, the SACKICO. Abhishek, I'm going to start with you. Huge pressure on OLE. But is this the make or break game, or is this the first of 3?
It's not. It can't be the make or break, man. And I might get a bit passionate here, so please feel free to stop me. But you know what, guys? If OLE had to go, now is the time. Now is the time for OLE to go. Because think of it logically, right? It cannot be that after a 5-0 defeat at Liverpool, 3 points at White Hart Lane or whatever that shitty stadium is called. What's the stadium called? New Power Stadium. The London Stadium, right? It can't be that. It can't be that 3 points.
It's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think London is West Ham, but it cannot be that 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is going to save his job. I just don't see it. In fact, just the other day, I put out a tweet saying, if OLE was to win the next 3 games, which for United is 2 games away, one at Spurs, one at Atlanta, and I think our third game is at home to City. If OLE was to get 9 out of 9 in the next 3 games, does that guarantee his job? And I'd still say, as someone who's not even OLE out yet, I'd still say that doesn't provide any assurances to a vast majority of the fans who have turned against him. It doesn't provide any assurances to the fans who are even with him. Because I'm sat in a position today, Rahul, where I think after a 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, with the media going so ham on you, with the fans, forget about social media. You remember that walk at halftime when the score was 4-0, when OLE had to go back to the tunnel? I think that itself was his end. I think that's where you kind of cut the cord and say, you know what, thanks for the memories, but it's time to move on. I don't know what the owners are planning right now. I think it's just the lack of a succession. We don't have succession planning at the club. Our owners don't think football. Our owners only think monetary revenue. What is the turnover year on year? Tomorrow if OLE, I pray he doesn't, but tomorrow if OLE was to be hit by a bus and die, we have no succession plan for him, right? I think that's the reason why we've decided to retain him. I don't think the reason to retain him is because, okay, you know what, he is the manager for the future. He is going to build it. I'm talking purely from a fan standpoint and from an owner standpoint. Me personally, Abhishek Iyer, what do I think? I think OLE has been the man I think he's been the best manager we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson. Purely because if you look at his results, if you look at what he's delivered, he's done phenomenal. Rahul, we fall into the trap of the third year phenomenon, wherein at the third year, suddenly we expect a title. We expect a Champions League. And I don't blame the fans. I don't blame the expectations either. We deserve to expect the Champions League. We deserve to expect doubles and trebles from year one itself. But just look at the trajectory that of Van Gaal and Mourinho. Forget David Moyes for a second. Van Gaal, third season gone. Mourinho, third season gone. At what stage do we accept that, you know what, this model doesn't work? We've hired two of the best managers in football history, Jose Mourinho and Louis Van Gaal, applied the same system, given them 3 years and sacked them in their third year because of bad results. So here I am stepping in and saying, you know what, maybe just let him stay. Don't make the same mistakes we've been making for the last 6 years, which is, you know what, first 10 games, results aren't going our way. You know what, it's the manager's fault. Get rid of him. That is where we go wrong as a football club. Show some faith, keep the faith. I know it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Losing 5-0 against Liverpool, guys, I can't even explain to you how painful and how hurting it is. But now is the time to keep and stick by the manager. Stick by him. Also because, yes, tactics have been bad. Some of the personnel deployment has been terrible. Some of the decisions made in terms of substitutions haven't been the greatest. But we are reacting to situations. We are reacting to incidences. We are reacting on the spot. Sit back, sip a beer, reflect on the last 3 years. Ole has given us more joy than sadness. Ole has brought back that pride of what it meant to be a United fan. 1 month ago, we were sat here thinking, you know what, we're going to win everything this year. Ronaldo at the brace, Ronaldo at the wheel, Ronaldo scoring everything. I never thought we'd bring Ronaldo back. And here he is, he's back. I never thought we could sign a defender like Varane. We've signed a defender like Varane. We're going through a really shitty patch. We're going through it. Now is the time you stick by the manager. And you know what? You say, you know what? If I'm allowed to swear, fuck the rest of the world. Stick by your manager and just hope for the best. And let him have his job unconditionally till the end of the season. If you're going to give him one game now against Spurs, I don't see the point. I just don't see the point. 3 points against Spurs, it's not going to make any difference. I don't know what the question was, Rahul. It's just so much of frustration, so much of, so emotions are at an all-time high, I must tell you. Even when Jose got sacked, and I was a big fan of Jose, I didn't feel so strongly about it. But with Ole, guys, remember PSG that night in Paris. Remember second place. Why is suddenly second place in the Premier League shitty? We apparently got second place last year because every other club was shit. Why does logic seem to twist itself every time United does something of note? When Van Gaal won the FA Cup is insignificant. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finishes second in the league is shit. Why? Do you see the narrative I'm trying to spin here? It's an agenda against Manchester United. It's an agenda against Manchester United's manager. Having said that, there are enough viruses at the club I'd like to see go, starting with the owners. I think the owners need to go. I think Ed Woodward needs to go. I think he's had his time. Thank you for bringing Ronaldo back, but please get the fuck out. Paul Pogba, I mean, I'll go back to you, Rahul. I'm sure that's part of the discussion, but I have my own take on Paul Pogba. But that's where I stand on this entire thing. And the reason I bring it up is because today it doesn't matter what we do at Spurs. The conversation is going to be about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We lose to Spurs, it's going to be Ole out again. We beat Spurs, it's still going to be Ole out because fans are still going to say, the media is still going to say, it doesn't matter. Tottenham, they're defeated, they're beaten. This is the best time to play Tottenham. Harry Kane is not their main man. They don't have Jose Mourinho. They don't have Poch. They have a third-rate manager. So it doesn't matter what happens with Spurs, honestly. We need to think long-term. We need to think about the big picture. And for me, as it's my personal opinion, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, guys, he is the big picture. We don't need another Antonio Conte. We don't need any of these people anymore. We don't need people coming and imposing their style of football on Manchester United. Fuck you. United has a style of playing. We are a legacy. We are a tradition. Fall in line, fall in place, and bring that back. And that's what Ole is doing. Under Mourinho, we would have never had a Mason Greenwood. Under Ole, we do. There's so many positives, guys. And the criticism of Ole, he can't attract star talent. Fuck you again. He attracted Ronaldo. He brought Varane. Say whatever you want. Cristiano is back under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Rafael Varane, Champions League winner, serial Champions League winner, is back at United under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So whatever agenda you have against him, because his English is accented, because he's a fake Brit, because he's not a because he's from Cardiff and he's from Molde, I don't care. But he's demonstrated in these last 3 years that he's more than capable of managing this club. And I hope he continues to stay in this position. And yes, coming to your question, I hope he destroy Tottenham Hotspur at that London or whatever that stadium is called.
Okay, so I'm just going to say that I can see an air condition over Vansh, but he is already sweating. Once I'm sending Abhishek to the game, but before I do, taking on United, Ole under pressure is always a difficult game. He always somehow comes up with the goods when it is supposedly his last game. Now, you've gone through another, grayish patch. I won't say it's black, I won't say it's white. It's a very in-between kind of patch. You've got Kane, you've got Son, you've got your defense sorted. You're finding some momentum, but then again, your manager is very similar to the style Jose used to play. It's always, 1 or 2 nil victories. If you're lucky, if it's your birthday, you'll score 3. So do you see that game coming out again against United?
The other day I was talking to somebody and they said that Manchester United they're starting a new streak that is getting 5 goals. They're going to lose by 5-goal differences to top teams every year now. Which started with a team that have a stadium, which is a shitty stadium called as a Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We beat them 6-1 last year. They got beaten up by 5. They got beaten up 5-0 by Liverpool last week at Old Trafford, and I guarantee you that the next season too, we are going to have another 5-0 battering of Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Sorry, you beat us at Old Trafford. Sorry, you didn't beat us at the shit stadium. You beat us at Old Trafford. Please go.
See, yeah, I agree with you on that one. That Manchester and Tottenham, but yeah, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the loudest stadium and it's the most encouraging stadium to play. And Old Trafford, man, if we haven't won a trophy, but like they haven't seen it.
God bless Vansh's internet.
Yeah, I think we've
trophies since
we've
he does sometimes get super acquisitions. I don't see them performing really well. Expectations you have from them, they aren't performing that well. They have gotten super managers. David Moyes wasn't a good manager, but they got Jose Mourinho, who I didn't prefer, but they were really excited about, and Ole too. And regarding last season, before second place is a good thing, but you see the difference between the first place team and then the second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, the first Liverpool, the first ones Manchester City, they were just a class apart, level apart from the other teams, and then all the teams they didn't have much gap between them. So Manchester United, they singularly rode on Bruno Fernandes last year. Even this time, you might say Pogba has 7 assists, but he didn't register them after the first match, after the game against Newcastle, or which team did you beat 5-1?
Leeds.
In the beginning in August. Yeah.
Leeds.
Coming to tomorrow's match, it's a home game. Tottenham hasn't done well lately. Yes, and last year Mourinho, bad season. Then 60 days of a manager hunt. Levy bought us NUNO, who's another Mourinho type manager, pragmatic, plays on the counter defense. And yes, we haven't had a good start to the season. 9 games, 5 wins, 4 losses, but we're still above you. 1 point above you, and we are 2 stages above you in the Carabao Cup also. We made it to the quarterfinals. Sadly, Manchester United lost.
At the worst that we've ever been, we're still your benchmark, which says enough.
Yeah, but still, the defensively, I'd say Tottenham is better than Manchester United. And with the level of the number of chances they miss. I mean, Rashford is missing sitters, Fred is missing sitters, even Ronaldo. I mean, when Ronaldo came to Manchester United, everybody thought that he's going to score, a hat trick or a brace in every game. Going to be I personally Ronaldo's in
the moment you start saying something about
involvement in earlier last year, it was complete.
His internet is a Manchester United fan.
Am I audible?
Yes, once you're audible now. We lost you in the middle of it sometime.
Yeah, so that was, Abhishek getting some relief, maybe. Or not, I don't know.
Okay, but Shabazz and Vedant, I'm going to ask you a very important question. Now, life and death hangs on this. There is Abhishek still on the call. Do you want to bet against Man United?
It's a very, very tricky match to predict because I really cannot say anything for sure, but I think it would be a draw. I think it can be a 0-0 draw, 0-0, something like that.
Okay, so I would like to side with Abhishek on this at this point, because I feel that whenever Ole needs a result. He gets it. So I believe yes, he will win at Spurs. So that's what I believe. Yeah. So that this is what we have been seeing for last like entire tenure of Ole. So yeah, I would go with a win for United.
And Abhishek, coming back to you now, more on this game. We know there's no Paul Pogba. We kind of know the back four, the front four is more or less confirmed. Uh, Two out of Fred, McTominay, and Matic will start in the middle. So the lineup is pretty much sorted. Now, do you see them going for it from the start, or is this another game where United will probably hold and want to hit on the counter?
It's a good question. I think I'd like to address the lineup first. And I just want to take this opportunity to talk about McFred, which is a meme now more than a combination. I want fans to understand that there is a philosophy behind the deployment of McFred, and it's not because he's a teacher's pet or a chumchak. Traditionally, a Manchester United holding midfielder, let's take names like Roy Keane, Michael Carrick, all these players are traditionally box to box. What that means is they are deep enough to cover for the centre backs, and they're forward enough to provide for the forwards, right? The reason why we play a McFred is because we don't have that kind of a player in the team right now. And a lot of people will say Donny van de Beek is that guy, get him in there. No, he's not that guy. I'll tell you why. The reason we get McFred is because together they make that entity that is missing in this team. McTominay is terrific with the ball when the ball's in the air. He's a tall man. He's got a good header. He's a very deep lying player. McTominay is great at breaking up. No, not breaking up. He's great at shielding the front four. Fred is a terrific ball retriever. He is what N'Golo Kanté does for Chelsea. Nowhere close to the sort of stature that Kanté is on. I respect Kanté a lot, but Fred is that kind of a player. He's that Rottweiler in the middle of the field who will go in, retrieve the ball, get all of that. Now, traditionally, we had one player to do this role. Roy Keane was that. Michael Carrick was that. They would not only shield the front, but they would also have that creative pass that would unlock a defense. We don't have that in this team right now. And that's the reason Ole Gunnar Solskjaer constantly goes back to that. Now, let me tell you how this affects our starting 11. What happens with United is our attacking philosophy is the same. It is the same. The way it was under Ferguson, overload the wing, have overlapping wingers, have tall centre forwards, have people who can absolutely bang in the ball, have creative midfielders. Bruno Fernandes is a Paul Scholes, guys. Let's be honest. He is everything that Paul Scholes. He's in fact even more advanced. He's a false 9 in the way that he's been playing this season. But our attacking philosophy hasn't changed. What is kind of hurting us right now is that one position, which is that holding midfielder, we haven't gotten right. And because of that, the entire balance of this team is going all right. Imagine for a second we had a Michael Carrick or a Roy Keane equivalent sitting in this team. That frees up one extra player. What does that extra player do? Either you make it a 4-4-2, you put in an extra striker up front. What happens when you put an extra striker up front for a team like United, especially when we're playing against weaker opposition? It guarantees goals. We're not having that right now, which is why we're struggling against even lesser sides. No disrespect to Leicester, phenomenal side. I absolutely respect everything they've done. But when United play Leicester, even Vedant will agree, when United play Leicester, bookies' favorites, United have to win, right? Leicester can get a result. Leicester can beat United because they're on form, but just legacy-wise, United have to win. That's the reason we're struggling against these teams. I thought Paul Scholes.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I think something changed. I think something changed in that halftime. You know, it was completely a different match in the second half. I don't know what pep talk Ole gave at halftime, but something changed after that first half. First half, it was an evenly balanced game, but in the second half, it was, United was no there. And since then, it has been completely, a downward.
I'll tell you what's happened, Vedant. What's happened is when we start chasing games now, right, we become so much more vulnerable. We got very lucky against Atlanta because they're not as high quality as a Leicester, for example. What happens with us is because our philosophy when we're trailing becomes complete counter-attack. United has one philosophy. Boss, whether you're trailing or whether you're 0-0, whether you're leading, counter-attack. We don't have this park the bus philosophy in our DNA, something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has brought back. What happens when quality sides play us, like Leicester, sides where even the players have brains? It's not like they're just badly following the manager. When you play a counter-attack, right, the aim of a counter-attack is to transition from, it's simple, defense to attack, transition quickly. The faster you transition from defense to attack, the better your counter-attack is. What is happening is in that transitioning of defense to attack, McFred get completely lost. Because if you were to ask Fred tomorrow, are you an attacking midfielder? Are you a defensive midfielder? He'd say he's a defensive midfielder. If you ask McTominay, are you an attacking midfielder? Are you a defensive midfielder? He'd say, I'm a defensive midfielder. That is where the problem lies. When you have two holding midfielders playing so deep, and then you have forwards up front, you cannot counter-attack with a long ball from straight defense to forward. Counter-attack, United's traditional counter-attack, and I'll bring back examples against Arsenal in the Champions League, Park Ji-sung, Cristiano Ronaldo, Carlos Tevez, Wayne Rooney. It's a series of quick passing that makes United's counter-attack so deadly. We were never a counter-attacking side where you just punt the ball long and hope for one of your wingers to get it, run into the box. Unfortunately, that's what's happening right now because we are arresting two players very deep in our half, which is why the criticism on McFred, I agree. It doesn't help that even Fred in the last two games has been half decent, but
is it something that Mourinho brought to Manchester United, and since then it has been there at Manchester United, isn't it? Because I think this was the ideology first introduced by Jose Mourinho, and since then you have never been, able to get out of that. And Ole is basically carrying that process forward.
No, I don't think so. I think it's also because we don't have that defensive shield. Basically, Ole plays very, very defensive. As much as I'd love to say that Ole is a Sir Alex Ferguson type Ole ball where it's all about counter-attack, I think it's because he's identified very rightly as a smart manager that our midfield is very weak. Matic, McTominay, Fred are not the same as a Jorginho, as a Conte, as a Fabinho, as a Naby Keita. Guys, these are players on a completely different level.
I think Leicester's midfield is even stronger than Manchester United.
There you go. And this is where I tell United fans, that is managerial acumen manifesting on the pitch. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified that my midfield is not strong enough. I'm not going to say Declan Rice because I don't rate him as highly, but yes, there is a need for United to bring in a strong holding midfield. Anyway, coming back to the larger point, Rahul, coming back to you. This is so much. I just don't even know where to go off. But I mean, that's where we are as a team, and that's where Ole's philosophy comes in, and that's where I feel the fans need to unite. I feel that's where we need to just say, you know what, Ole, get 6 out of the next 9, you're okay. Get 4 out of the next 9, you're okay. I don't see us honestly beating City. City are flying right now. Atlanta away, we might just make a win because we'll be super defensive and they're not a quality side. Against Tottenham Hotspur, anything can happen. Can we capitulate and absolutely get destroyed 4-0? It's possible only because of the last 3 games that I've seen. But do I think we'll get a result? I think we'll get a result. When United fans say we'll get a result, we don't mean a draw. Shabazz, that's for you. When United fans say we get a result, it means that I think we'll get 3 points at whatever London White Hart Stadium it's called.
Okay, we're quickly going to get into predictions. Starting with Vansh.
Home game, I'd say we'll edge them 2-1 or make settle for draw 2-2. Gonna be a goal scoring game because both defenses aren't that good. We have a better defense, but our attack isn't as good as Manchester United.
And Shabazz.
Yeah, I would go with 2-1 United, and that's what I meant, by the way, Abhishek. I said Ole will get a win. He will get a result. That means he will get a win, right? So that's what I meant. Yes, I would go with United 2-1.
And Vedant predicted a draw. You're sticking to that?
0-0.
Okay. And I think no surprises for guessing what Abhishek's going to predict. But big gap, small gap. 7 goals.
Ronaldo at the brace, we beat them 3-1.
Okay, boys, I'm quickly going to go into the remaining games of the weekend. Now we're just going to get into predictions, keeping time in mind. Shabazz, I'm going to start with you. Burnley versus Benford. Give me a prediction for that one.
Man, Burnley versus Benford. I think Benford will be able to beat them. I mean, 2-0. That's for me.
I mean, they're playing some pretty good football.
Okay,
they gave
right.
Liverpool a run for their money. They gave Chelsea a run for their money. So they're here to stay. Vedant, Man City versus Crystal Palace at the Etihad.
Manchester City, 3-0.
And Abhishek, coming to you. Newcastle versus Chelsea. St. James's Park now.
Chelsea.
I mean their defenders seem to do better than the strikers.
Till I see Antonio Conte, Paul Pogba, Jorginho, and Conte playing for Newcastle, they're not getting any result in this league. So Chelsea, I think comfortable 3-0, 4-0. Yeah.
Okay. And Vansh, Watford versus Southampton at Vicarage Road.
Watford, Southampton, Claudio Ranieri, big win out last time against Everton, 5-2. Southampton, Hasan is a good manager, but he doesn't get results. So I'll go with Watford 2-1.
And coming back to you, Vedant, Norwich take on Leeds at Carrow Road.
It's a very good game from a neutral perspective, but I think Leeds will bounce back now. 2-0.
I mean, yeah, Norwich don't really have anything to show for the amount of games they've played in the Premier League this season, at least.
It's
Aston Villa versus West Ham, Villa Park, Shabazz.
It's at Villa Park, right?
Yes.
I would go with a win for West Ham 3-2.
Okay, and I love to throw this at you, Abhishek, but Liverpool versus Brighton at Anfield.
I mean, this is any fantasy Premier League manager's dream, isn't it? This is where you triple captain Mohamed Salah and just. Yeah, man. I mean, Liverpool 5-0.
I mean, not to be harsh, but a triple captain against United would have also gotten him a lot of points.
Oh.
I know it hurts, but finally coming to Vansh, Wolves versus Everton at the Molineux. Now that's a big one.
Yeah, good game. I'd say, the third or fourth best fixture after the two ones we discussed deliberately on. Rafa Benitez edging it 3-1 to Everton.
Also considering the fact that probably Everton coming off a bad defeat and Wolves is actually starting to play well.
Yeah,
Everton-
I'd say the Dukuru's injury is a big blow to Everton. Yeah, but they have a holding midfielder like Allen in the midfield. And Wolves, they depend entirely. I mean, only the only goal scorer for them has been Hong Chan. Adama Traore and Jimenez haven't been at that goal scoring best. I'd say Everton and Richarlison's back. So yeah, that's a good boost.
Everton is being Everton actually. So they always start off the season on a good note and then they fall off the cliff.
Happened last time as well. Abhishek and
Yeah.
Shabazz, 2 bits here with your score. Everton versus Wolves.
I think Everton will nick it. I think Benitez has shown enough. I think they'll nick it 2-1.
And Shabazz.
I'll go with Wolves because I mean on the back of a big loss, I don't think they even if they win, they wouldn't be able to make it big, right? So on the back of a big loss, I don't believe they will be able to grind out a result or win. It might be a draw, or Wolves will win.
Boys, we've come to the end of the episode, and I must say, of all I have done, this has probably been the most intense one. Thank you, Abhishek, for that one. Vansh, Shabazz, Vedant, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Also, guys, while you're at it, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Again, thank you, boys, for being here. Stay home, stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
for the
all.
invite as well, Raul.
Thank you.
Nice one indeed.
Vansh, had a lot of fun, man. Thanks for that. And you know what I think about the Tottenham Stadium? I said it very clearly before the start of the show. Don't mind the banter.
See it tomorrow. Maybe you'll change your perspective after that.
Oh, so then you didn't get. Are we still recording, Raul?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I thought we were offline. Cool.